I know we have all been there. You're viewing a report in this Power BI service in a shared workspace that you collaborate on with your colleagues. And you notice with that report that you created and published, something is wrong. You realize it has something to do with your semantic model. And so you have to now navigate back to the Power BI desktop application, make those changes and modifications there to that data model, to that semantic model in the Power BI desktop, just to have to republish it back to that shared workspace. Well, that is less of an issue for us now that semantic model version history is now available in the Power BI service. Let's go ahead and take a look. Hello, everyone. My name is Angelica Choo Quan, and today I want to talk to you about the semantic model version history that's now available to you in the Power BI service. In this video, we are going to touch on that semantic model version history while also taking a look at editing our semantic model in the service and seeing how beneficial this can be to us as developers and to really streamline the process of editing that semantic model is something we've been asking for a long time, to finally have the ability to write our DAX measures, to create those row-level security roles, to be able to go in and modify those relationships from the service, and to then be able to see those previous versions of the changes to the semantic model we've made. So now it's all available to us there in the service. Let's go ahead and take a look and see who this is exactly available for. One of the first things that we are going to take a look at, in addition to looking at semantic model version history and restoring a previous version of semantic model history, is editing our semantic model in the service. Now, this is not yet available for everyone. This is something that is currently being rolled out. And right now, it is available to those who are working in a premium workspace. So you do need to be in a premium workspace. This is going to be on by default. We'll take a look at that. You'll also see that there are some limitations to what you can do regarding editing your semantic model in the service. It doesn't include everything that you are able to do in the desktop. Just know that there is a bit more functionality in the desktop when it comes to editing those semantic models. Semantic model version history is something that is currently only available to those in a premium workspace as well. This version history is not supported for semantic model stored in the My Workspace, and you do have to understand that only 5 versions are saved per model. So when you then go in and you reach that limit of 5 versions, it's going to overwrite the oldest version as you start to continue to save your semantic model versions past that 5 model limit. So you do have a 5 version limit there as well. And you need to make sure that you are editing your semantic model with a model that has been upgraded to enhanced metadata format, and that it is also supporting that large semantic model storage format. From your workspace, when you create a new workspace, to make sure that you do have this configured correctly, you would select that new workspace and then make sure that you are creating this in at least a premium workspace, premium per user, or a capacity workspace as well. The next big thing you want to make sure in order for both of these scenarios to be enabled in your workspace, change the semantic model storage format here to large semantic model storage format. This needs to be enabled, or else you will not have the capability to go through the process of editing and seeing these semantic model versions. So I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel here now, because I'm going to take a look at modifying this in the current workspace that we have configured. First, I would like to start by showing you some of the version history that's available and kind of what this looks like from the Power BI service. So I'm going to navigate to a workspace that I have created here, and I'm going to go to the sales analysis semantic model. So you can navigate to your semantic model settings and you can click Open Data Model. When you do, notice that by default, it is going to show you that you are in viewing mode. This is one of the updates to the editing your semantic models in the Power BI service. It is going to default to viewing mode. This is great because it makes sure that you are not automatically in that edit mode and going to accidentally make any edits to your semantic model by mistake. This is perfect, and this is what we want to see. Over here on the left-hand side, you can see in the file section here, you have the ability to create a new report. You also have the ability, once you have made some changes, to save to version history and to look at that version history. Let's go ahead and flip this here now to editing the semantic model so we can take a look at making some changes. It will take a moment to flip to edit mode, but just make sure that you notice that icon now says editing and not viewing, and you are good to go. Now that we have this in edit mode, we are able to make changes to this model and to save it to our version history. But let's go ahead and open that version history pane by selecting this button. Over on the right-hand side, you are going to see the version history, up to 5 versions of your model. Remember, once you reach that 5 limit, it's going to overwrite the oldest version. So that's something to keep in mind as you go through and make these modifications. If I wanted to go in and restore my current version of this semantic model to one of the previous ones, I can go ahead, select that ellipses, and select restore. Now that we've viewed the semantic model version history and the version history pane, let's take a look at modifying our semantic model a little bit here and saving that so that we can then take a look at that additional version history that we've saved to this semantic model as well. As I'm looking at my model, I can see here we're working with that AdventureWorks data set, and we have our internet sales table connected to a couple of dimension tables here, our customer, our product. We've also got geography, sales territory, temperature, and we have our date. Now, if we take a look at our date table, I'm going to move a couple of things around here just to make it a little bit easier for us to kind of navigate and see the relationships here. But as I take a look at my date table, I can see that there are 3 relationship lines. Now, remember that when you are working with multiple table relationships, only one will be set as the active relationship. The active relationship is going to be the relationship in which your report visualizations is going to filter down to. So the filter propagation will leverage that active relationship. So in order to use those inactive relationships, we would need to use a measure that is using that use relationship function in order to help with this. I do have a video on our YouTube channel that covers this, so be sure to check that out on our YouTube channel if you're looking how to activate and use inactive relationships in your reports. Currently, I can see the active relationship as I hover is set on the date column of my date table and the due date column on my internet sales table. While this might be important to us to analyze at times, I think that this was done by mistake as I talked to my team. Really, what I think would be more important and more beneficial to me and my team to actually have is to instead set this to the order date. So making that active relationship based on order date. What I want to do first, because I do already have that relationship here, it's just currently set as inactive. I need to first change the active relationship to inactive. Then I can update that order date to date relationship and make that my main relationship and make that active. From the pane over here on the right-hand side, I want to select where it says make this relationship active. I want to toggle that to no. Then make sure you select apply changes in order for that change to take effect. It looks like it successfully applied that change. I can see here now that it's also showing that the other relationships are showing up as inactive as well. I'm going to navigate to the relationship between the date column on my date table and my order date column on my internet sales table. Now, with this relationship open in my properties pane, I'm going to go ahead and toggle this relationship to active and then click apply changes. So we then have that set up there and ready to go for us. Wonderful. Now that is going to be the main relationship that is leveraged in those visualizations that we have created and that we will create for this report. A couple of things that I may want to take a look at. If I open up my internet sales table, I can see I have quite a few measures here, but it's showing that there is an error showing up on most of these. If I open up, let's say, the profit measure, just to kind of take a look and see what's going on here, I can see here now that it's saying, hey, the total sales measure cannot be determined. Either it doesn't exist or it does not exist for the current row of this column. Well, I know what something probably happened here, or what probably happened here is that someone came in and didn't realize what they were doing, and they might have accidentally selected and deleted that total sales measure. So right now it's not here in my model, but I no longer have to go back out to the desktop and create that measure. We can create that total sales measure right here from the Power BI service. So on this same table, my internet sales table, I want to go ahead and select a new measure. And in just a moment, it'll open up that formula bar. And we can go in and replace that measure name with total sales. That's what I want to reference it because that's what it was originally called with all those measures that were created. And I'm going to go ahead and use that sum function for this. We're going to bring in that internet sales table and reference the sales amount column. Add a closing parentheses here as well. So very quick measure that we created here in our model. I'm going to go ahead and select enter here now and see that this is going to update and clear all those errors on the rest of my measures, which is wonderful. The other thing that we can kind of take a look at doing here to our semantic model and editing is row level security. For quite some time, row level security has been a two-part process that began in the desktop where you create your security roles by giving it a name. You write out the DAX and you filter the table that you want to apply your row level security to and apply a filter to that table where you were going to say, hey, when a user is logged in and signed to this role, they should only see this data. So let's take a look at an example of that and let's take a look at writing out just one basic security role here now that we actually can do this from the Power BI service. So I'm going to select Manage Roles, and in just a moment, it'll open up the new enhanced row level security editor, which is on by default. I'm going to go ahead and select New Role. For this role, I would like to create a role on the sales territory table that allows me then to filter down by the sales territory country. Now we're just going to create a simple static role here that filters down to the row when the row is United States. So I'm going to name our role here to the US rep role so that our sales territory reps that are assigned to that United States role will be able to only see the sales territory country when it's equal to United States. So on the sales territory table, you want to make sure you select new and that we apply the filter based on the sales territory country column when it is equal to United States. Now we can go in and click save and it will save our role. Now that I've saved this, I'm going to go up here and I'm also going to select assign. Now, right here from this same window, I can go in and assign users to this role. So let's say I want to assign Allison Gonzalez to the security role. I'll go ahead and add her in here. And now she will only be able to see the sales territory country when it is equal to United States. Now you go ahead and click save here. Remember that with row level security, those users have to be assigned to the viewer workspace role in the workspace in order for row level security to be enforced. If they are assigned to the workspace as a contributor, member, or admin, row level security will not be enforced. Now, we've modified a few things in this semantic model. We modified a relationship. We added in a new measure, and we created a security role and assigned a user to that security role. Let's save this to our version history. Here, you always want to provide a description. I think it's very helpful, and I'll show you where you would see that. Here, I would put modified relationship. I would probably put order date to date here, something that explained that. I would also put added total sales measure and added US rep role. Then I'd click save. And now take a look, it says save to version history. If we click view details, it's going to open up that version history pane for us. And we can see all of the versions that have been saved here, showing our kind of newest one here first as well. Again, remember you are limited to 5 versions here. And once you reach that limit, it will overwrite the oldest version and kind of eliminate that from your version history and from the pane. Remember those limitations and considerations we discussed at the beginning of the video. You can only have up to 5 saved versions of your semantic model saved in the Power BI service. If you go over that 5 version limit, it's going to overwrite the oldest version in your version history. You also must note that if you're trying to move semantic models between capacities, it is going to eliminate the ability to look at that version history in the version history pane for that particular one. In order to edit a semantic model, users must have the ability to write and build. They must have those permissions on the semantic model in the workspace, or they will not be able to go in and modify those settings. Also remember that this is a feature that must be enabled by your Power BI tenant admin for users to be able to edit those semantic models in the service in order for this to be enabled at the workspace level. For a full list of those limitations and considerations, be sure to go out to the Microsoft Learn documentation on editing your semantic models in the service, as well as semantic model version history in the Power BI service. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.